As I wanted to make the intro, I just noticed that there is like a yellow power slug on there. I wonder how many different kinds there are in the game, and I wonder where they're used for. Sooner or later we're gonna unlock the MAM system, which should automatically research stuff for us and tell us what it exactly is. Also, look at the lonely tree up there. I feel so sad for him. Okay, anyways, I am about to unlock something for you guys because there is a reason for this, and I'm just gonna add some plating and press the button because I am going to need something.
Versions of conveyor belts and conveyor lifts are now accessible.
To
encourage additional verticality, conveyor poles now have a stackable variant.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. Stackable variants. And we also got the MK2. Now, I'm not yet really into the upgraded version just yet because I need to learn the game for a bit. But I will just take a look at that over time. And also these cast reinforced plates, which are very expensive to make manually. So I'm going to need to have a conveyor belt and a whole system that makes them automatically. But what I was very interested in is... there we go, is these guys. I'm going to need to have some iron rods for that. I will just explain everything along the way. We're just going to do some fun building and some unlocking. I would also like to take a look at the coupon shop, which I should actually... I need to wait, that's fine. Now also, if I'm not wrong, it says bind to the hotbar. I got hotbar number 5. And if I would actually, I think, press Ctrl and move my scroll wheel. No. Okay, I need to hold Alt. If I hold Alt, I can make like a new hotbar, which is just super neat in this game. A lot more games need this kind of stuff. So anyways, this guy... it looks like a fun detection barrier thing. What do you call this? When you walk through and you got metal with you, it starts beeping. But this thing, I've been reading that you can stack them up. And I am going to need that for the next thing that I would like to build. But first things first, I have been setting up this smelter up to this constructor, which makes some iron plates. Because, you know, I'm running out of iron plates. So I just put this down because I needed some. But the one thing I do notice is that iron plating isn't going that fast as the iron rods are going. As you can see, a lot of these guys. So sooner or later, what we are going to do is connect one mine up to 2 more smelters. One smelter is going to construct rods, and these rods will be constructed into screws, and these screws will be brought to this guy right down here, which basically means that I have one smelter for whatever I would like to do, which in this case I also want to have another plate maker, so we're also getting twice as much plate because at this moment I am having 2 of these constructions making iron rod. That's the only reason why it goes that fast than compared with those plates. So what I want to do here, just for a minute, I am going to disconnect these guys for a very good reason that I want to have this conveyor belt go up and over. Now the whole problem with this is why I haven't been doing that just yet is because when you place like the conveyor lift down, we just take it, it will always choose the one where you're looking closest at. So in this case it's the bottom one. When you connect this up to something that has like an entrance or exit, it will decide for you which way will be the entrance or exit. When you place it like this, right, and then, you know, like that, you can see the exit will always be the second one which you place up or down, and the one you use to place it down will always be the entrance. Or with long story short, I can place this guy right down here to say get it in, get it out on the top. But if I place here one to receive the conveyor belt on top, I cannot do that because the one at the bottom will always be the entrance and the one on top will be the exit. So you cannot connect that up. It's just not possible. So what I then have to do is first put this guy, for an example. I like it yeah, if it's a bit of a distance. So first I have to do this. So as you can see, the one on top is the exit, which is what I want. So 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. Let's just see how high that looks like. yeah, it needs to go one higher. So it actually needs to be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Like that. So it's just enough space that I can walk underneath for whatever reason is needed for, right? So I cannot do this in the sky and just say, okay, just stop here somewhere midair. That is not possible. That's why I need these stackable things, which will be in line with this guy, just like that. Now I would say I could do it like here, but then no, I need to do it here. Okay, so now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that seemed to be enough. Now I can just connect this up. Hey, that is one higher though. That is odd. I guess, yeah, the thing, these are bigger than that thing. Just ignore my mumbling for a second. This should be fine. It looks like it is fine. So 3 on top of each other is like bringing this thing 5 high, something like that. So now I'm going to need to put this thing down. And you would say, oh, problem, because, you know, if I would do this, yeah, you see how different heights it all has. It is okay, but we can rotate this guy so I can make like a nice corner around it. Just like that. Then I can just, hopefully, I think it's gonna be super tight, but that's an invalid shape. Yeah, that's because it's, let's see, what can I do about that? It's gonna be a tight one. Let's first place this guy here. I hope this, ooh, why is the corner so twisty? I thought I had a good idea here, but apparently not really. And this was all to just save space. But what I can also do is just accept that I cannot place it up close. The only thing that I need to be very careful with is the space with this guy. So what I think I can do best first, take the second one from top, then put it low like that. The front is already done. Now let's do the same. So starting from the bottom will be the entrance always, and then the second one will always be the exit. And I'm missing iron plates. Something is wrong here. Did I place it correctly? Because normally, yeah, you see, now it will show like the red entrance type of deal, and I can just line it up like that. And also I can just connect it up via the ground, so I don't have to go up all the way. So yeah, what I wanted to say, I need to keep in mind to leave a little bit of spaces right down here. So I could move this guy up, then entrance, exit. It could also be that it doesn't connect. No, there's a little bit of space underneath that too. I guess that is just how it is. So now rotate this the correct way, like that. Then let's do it like that. So I still have some space here. Have to be careful. And now I could just do that. Beautiful. You know, and I'm thinking of it. I could have just moved it up a little bit. But if I remove this, let me just show you a little trick. I think you guys are trying to show me tricks. If I would place this one back, I think if I would do that, beautiful, then I can just connect it like that, right? And then you're like, oh, this stuff is in the way. And I'm going to remove it. And then it also looks like that this lift here is actually holding the conveyor belt up, just like at the beginning, because I don't have any support that too. I can accept that. So, which basically I'm trying to say here, I can put this one up very close, which is maybe a little too close. It's also very important to, yeah, just one off. I like that a little bit so you can still see if things are running. Beautiful. Let's connect this up. Plastic. But this is just space efficient to say. And then we can change this one back to plates. I am going to need to add another one of these guys. And I'm going to need to connect them up. So what I think, what will be the best thing to do before I spend too much time for something which cannot be done, is, let me see here, like that, like that. And first, make sure that I know how much space I need to make this look at least a little bit nice. Okay, that doesn't look too bad though. So I have a little bit of space to get through with another conveyor belt. Now the thing here is I am going to need to have a merger because we're going to make another plate stuff. Do that on that side. I think this is just, well, I wanted to say perfect, but yeah, as you can see, this thing is blocking. Can I not really just move it up once and then make the corner? Because, oh, that's a shame. So I must place this guy here. So this has saved me up a lot of work if I already would set up the whole show here. I pull it back a little more though, I'm wondering. I think if I would pull it back one more, this thing is going to be in touch with the conveyor belt, which doesn't look too pretty. Yeah, what I can do, let me just see if I can just mess around with this for a minute. Well, at this point it has been a couple of days that I touched this game for reasons, which isn't too bad of a thing because I've been watching a lot of videos with handy tips and tricks onto this game, and there are some things down here that I'm going to need to change and I'm going to need to keep in mind. But I'm not going to explain all of it, I'm just going to explain things when we are getting there. So first of all, one thing that I have noticed is once you grab one of these, you click once, you actually confirm the place, right? Which I didn't know is if you look up, you can raise this thing up, which is just super handy because I was actually needing this function for certain conveyor belts. Also another thing, the storage area. It's not too bad of an idea, but there is something that I could have done way different in order to just fill up my storage and get all of the extra stuff to the sink, which we can make coupons with, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Also another thing that I need to keep in mind, this very first base is not going to be here after we got a lot further into the game mechanics and got all kinds of stuff running, which isn't too bad of a thing. It's just always the start that is the most difficult, and I really would like to build everything perfect and a nice factory. The thing here is, sooner or later we have like a ginormous area behind here, which we can make everything look perfect after I got a ton of coupons, which I can unlock certain stuff. And yes, I am wandering to this guy over here. I want to beat him. I want to beat his butt. I want to see how difficult it is to, you know, mow this guy down. Oh, that's real bad. Okay, you know what? I want to know how much hits you can take, buddy. Oh, that wasn't too bad though. Alright. So also another thing, these creatures here and there are in a surrounding of, let's say, every 100 meters somewhere you can find creatures. And also at very important nodes there are always creatures, and even bigger creatures, more dangerous creatures. So as you can see right in this area, look at all of this space I got down here. This is more space than I have right down there. So at some point this factory can be rebuilt right down here into a factory that is going to be 100% perfect. But more about that of course later on. It is going to be absolute fun. So what I should do with this factory is just keep it basic. I shouldn't even be bothering building all kinds of walls around it, that kind of stuff. Making so many storage areas is something that I don't need. I can just, you know, there's a lot I'm going to need to change. So for one more time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean everything up, and then with a lot of cuts here and there I will set stuff back and also explain you why I'm doing this. This can also be very handy for you into your future if you buy this game and start playing this game. Alright, everything is filled back up. Now let's turn this thing on and see if it can handle the whole assembly line. I basically put it back what I had before, only a little bit more smarter. Now before I turn around and show you what I have done and or what we're going to do with the sink, I first want to explain you that I have discovered that no matter how you place this thing, you still have the option for, you know, in or out. As you can see on the top it says now out. If I press R it is in, so you can actually have control over this, which I didn't know, which is going to be super handy. Now let me just turn around and show you the new setup right down here. As you can see I got rid of the power storage and or I got things set up a little bit better with a lot more space, and things make a lot more sense. Also as you can see right down here, stuff is now going over rather than underneath, creating like this bumpy type of road. Now behind here it's just the same like I did here. Everything from now on is gonna go 4 high, and it also counts for certain corners. These corners are like 4. which I will just show you at some point what I mean with that. But the number 4 is easy to remember for everything rather than this thing 4 high and then a corner like 3. What I mean with corner is normally what I did is just, for example, I have this guy here and then I would count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and have a corner like that. But you know, the more numbers you need to keep in mind, the messier it's gonna get. So from now on I just do 4, which is just easier to remember. And sooner or later we're going to add the screw assembly, but basically right now this thing comes in, brings 60 ore per minute, split it up in 2 because these guys can make both 30 iron ingots per minute, so that means 60 iron ingots is coming out, 2 times 30. These guys once again make these guys first, so this one poops out 30 iron bars per minute. Split it up into 2 because these guys make 15 iron rods per minute, so yeah, totally it is 30 iron rods per minute. Then they come here and instead of first going throughout the whole storage and then fill up 2 levels and then if it's full I can just connect it up to a sink in order to make coupon points, I just straight away split stuff up. So this guy is getting filled up, maybe not as fast as it did before, but at some point I just have enough rods anyway. These rods are mainly used for conveyor belts and whatever not. You could say it goes still pretty quick, but that's because it is stopped right now. So one goes in there, one goes in here, goes up in there. Then for the plating it is going to be the same. One is going to go into the storage and one will go up into this conveyor belt and merge together with these rods. Then down here later on the screws will go in and it's the same story, split it up, one on one goes up in here. And then, well, I want to have this stuff right away into the point machine for the sink. I already unlocked that here, so we can just right away have some fun with that if I can find where it's at. It is right down here. So this is the machine that turns the resources that you don't really use into points, and if you have a certain amount of points, it will turn it into coupons. Now this machine is pretty big, as you can see. A little bit bigger than I thought it would be. Yeah, but that is okay, because this is an end station. So I can go down from here and connect it right up. Anything else, I'm going to make another sink, because apparently I thought at first you can only make one sink and then everything needs to go into this one sink. Apparently you can make multiple sinks. I am only not sure if all the sinks will count stuff up together or that each sink will have its own separate system. We're gonna find that out sooner or later. But before it's getting too dark, at some point the moon will shine like the sun apparently in this game. I first would like to, you know, show you this whole thing. So I'm just going to grab this conveyor belt. Later on, once we upgrade more and get into the overclocking, things will go a lot faster. Then I'm going to use this number 2. And for now I can use this guy. And by the look of it, it's not going to aim out perfectly. So what can I do? Well, it is very simple. Just go one off. Now sometimes it is a little bit difficult to see, but I'll guess just one more like that. So now it will show up. And can I aim this out? Thank you. No aiming out. I'll guess this will be fine. And then if I press R, it will turn the other way around. And then it should show me. If I hold Control maybe? No? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why I like this number 4, so I don't have to mess around. So let's connect this up to that, and let's connect this up to that. And now stuff is coming down. Now all the items, certain items have certain points. This thing doesn't have power. That's not very smart. So let's say for an example, one rod has a point of 1. It could mean that screws have a point of 4 and so on. There are items that is almost worth like 1 million, so there are tons and tons of items. Right, now we connected it up correctly. The machine, as you can see right now, should be doing its animation like that. It's beautiful. And as you can see in here, it's counting the points. So 30 to 26, that means it's worth 4 points. That means 6 points. So depending on the item, how much it's worth it, it's going to count it down. So I believe here is like the ticket machine, you know, just for when you rotate it around. Apparently there are also DNA points. I'm not sure what that means. And I believe at some point it needs to show us like how many points per minute we get. Alright, so for now we're gonna get 254 points, which isn't that much, but later on we're gonna have another one of the machines, and then I hope it actually counts it up rather than separately, because that means you're getting more points quicker. And of course we still need to assemble the screws. Now like I said, once we can overclock machines, we can make them run faster, which means more stuff will come in here. Now I need this guy. This tiny little thing. This thing I believe don't need any power. I'm going to rotate this just like that, and then let's place it like here for now. Alright, so once we have a coupon, it says welcome back. Even though I haven't been in here, I just need to imagine, you know, I've been playing this way before. So in here, as you can see, there is organization, and we have label sign bundle. Now we need to unlock this by researching quartz crystal in the MAM system. So I'm going to need to unlock that. We have this. These are street lights, indoor lighting, floodlights, light control panels, which I think we can just decide what kind of a color the light need to be. There are skins. Then we have management. Now also need to keep in mind, the more tiers you unlock, the more items you unlock, and the more items will be added to the shop, because not everything is showing right now. We have these wall outlets. You just place them onto the wall. You can connect the cables to it, but you also have one, I believe, which should take care that on the other side of the wall will also be like a knob, so you can go through the wall without having to do difficult stuff. We have ceiling mounts and wall mounts for the conveyor belt, also going through the floor without having a hole into the floor. Different foundations, and as you can see, it shows like a list. You're gonna get a lot of stuff. We have like nice walls, we have gates, window walls, certain things you can unlock, other things you can need to research it first. Road barriers, these are going to be super important in order to play around with stuff. And wait a minute, if I have 1 point I can just show it. It's going to take a little while. I'm going to show it to you before the end of the episode. Walkways, ladders, you can customize. So I can change this floor into a concrete foundation or an asphalt foundation. And there is also something which should take care that the skin is already on it. It's all stuff that I'm going to show. But of course we have ridiculous things. We have like a little factory card, get a boom box with certain music stuff. We got trophies, and look at this, 1,000 ticket. That's going to take a long time, because every time after one ticket or a certain amount of ticket, the amount of points you're going to need will double up. And of course you can also buy parts if you really need that. And so it had become a cloudy morning. I seen you popping up for a second there. Anyways, we're going to check out right now. It's now more of a steady type of deal, because I already had a lot of stuff in the conveyor belt before I turned this thing on. I've also checked stuff out. For one rod you get 4 points, for one plate you get 6 points. For screws you only get 2 points, but I know there is a reason for that, which in fact will give you maybe 3.5 points, almost 4, but that's okay. So let's just print this coupon. There we go. Then we take this coupon, and then let's go to the awesome shop. And let's see, I would like to have this guy. So just like in a real store, you just, you know, put it to your shopping cart, and you're gonna go here, and then you're like, buy all. All right, so now we have that guy. And if we're gonna check out, you see now here we have a road barrier. Now this road barrier is pretty awesome. Yeah, just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna press 7 so it's in my hotbar, and I'm going to take the wall and I'm going to put it in 8, and I'm going to take this foundation and put it in 9, because I want to show some magic what I've been learning. Alright, so walls, normally you can only attach them to one side of a foundation, right? And foundations, normally you can only stack it up like on top of it, or if you use your rotator you can do it like that. That is basically all you can do. But these barriers, Look at that. It has so much more flexibility that you can do a lot more with these barriers. So for an example, let me just think here for a second. Okay. I think I'm also going to need to have like a pillar for what I wanted to show, but maybe I can do that with a wall. No, I'm going to need to have a pillar, but basically a pillar somehow gives you the same idea as what I do on the floor, only vertically. So you can do bit by bit offside. So imagine that you can do that up just a little bit. Then you can place a foundation just a little bit higher than this foundation, which you can make like a sidewalk type of idea. I will just show it you once it's possible. But yeah, what can we do? Well, in this case, I can go out of the way, do like that, make a stairways type of idea. Now these foundations are too high, but once we have pillars, you can set the height just a tiny bit and do another tiny bit and make like a round stairways, for example. Or you can create like the craziest shapes of building. These guys are something you want as very, very first. Alright, now that is out of the way. I would like to see, can I get rid of stuff? So I had this one on 9. If I press 9 again, will be gone. No. And so I believe that is all I had to do right down here. And now screws are being made. Why are you guys waiting? If I put it this the wrong way again, I did. Come on, get your arse in there. I've been setting that the wrong way. Yep. Also this is the wrong way. Oh my god, I'm such a dum-dum. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'll guess this is it. I mean, everything seems to be flowing. Now, as you can see, it flows and stops and flows and stops. That's because the conveyor belt is too slow. So, we can do something about that, because at this moment, I do have conveyor belt number 2. Now, I believe, yep, we don't have to replace it. We can now just update it, this guy, like that. So now everything goes a lot faster. Of course it goes a bit slower there, but that's okay. It is just the merging points that need to be fast. And also this guy is not gonna go that fast. So what we can also do, this might be handy for, if you look at my slot there, to do number 2 for like number 2 stuff. So in this case, this one can be on 1, this one can be on 2, and so forth. So also this guy apparently, I hope I can get between in there. Right, first take that one, so that's fine. Let's just do that one first. And let's like that. So as you can see, there is a ton of screws wanting to go up. And what we can also do in this case is upgrade this guy to Mark 2, so things will go also a lot faster. Let me see, can I please upgrade this boy? There is also like a downside of having stuff being too cramped in though. Yeah. Something to keep in mind for the future, to at least do a little bit of space between in there. Ay, caramba. Now what I'm also going to do is do that guy. A lot of upgrading. I'm only not sure why it is not running though. Now this might have something to do with this game. Maybe. One there, one here. Maybe this guy is not connected up. Could also be. There's a lot to learn. Yeah, okay, so I have to be careful connecting stuff back up. Then this guy is gonna go there. This should work. Of course I can understand that things are stuck because this guy is going. Yes, finally done. So as you can see, things are gonna go in way quicker right now. This guy's kind of rolling. I mean, it slowly but surely will, you know, be normal again. Yeah, it might also be possible at some point that I need to upgrade certain parts to number 3 conveyor belt, but yeah, things are rolling. We're getting screws. And this guy, let's check it out. So it stands still. Now we are rolling again, and I wonder how much more per minute we're gonna get. So when we added the screws, things were going up to 150. Now we upgraded everything to conveyor belt number 2, and there we go. It's going a lot quicker. 310. Now, it can happen that we just started this, meanwhile this minute was already busy. So let's wait another minute to see if it completely, updated. Now we have the full system running. You also need to keep that in mind. Oh, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go down. There's probably a reason for that, but that is fine. I mean, I already got 2 more coupons, and over time this thing will keep rolling. And what I would like to figure out for next episode is how things work when we add a second sink, which we need to have a couple more things rolling, and or I still decided I want to have like a second floor going. It's just going to be a boxy factory, and I just want to use it as long as possible before we move on to a new factory. We're only going to build a new factory and move stuff over once we have a different way of fueling stuff, because this every time I need to refuel with the hand, and we're going to need to have more and more of these things. And at some point, which should be a stress relief of doing this, is having a coal power plant, which is also going to have a water type of deal with it. So it's going to be exciting, but that is stuff for a little later on. And I might have also a surprise for the next episode, which we're going to bang a lot of points out of this stuff. Alright, so yeah, a lot of points, huh? What does it cost to make a zapper? Couple of rods, reinforced plates. I'm going to need to have that a lot.